Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming. I hope you're all well. As promised, I'm going to do a playthrough from the initial startup of Watch Dogs Legion. I think, as I mentioned in the game, the only things I don't like about this game are the kind of overall options. One of them, which I think I mentioned before, is, as you can see, you've only two free save slots. So I had to delete one of my games just to do this, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why you can't have more saves. It's normal in lots of games where you can have multiple saves, as many as you want really, so I don't know why there's only three. It's slightly irritating, but that's what it is. And the other thing that's slightly irritating is that the initial, I'd say it's a tutorial, but it's not really, because it's quite long and you have to play through this each time you start a new game. You'll see what I mean. I mean, there's no parkour in this game to speak of. The shooting is simple. The other mechanics, the jumping, they're all simple, and I'm not brilliant when it comes to any of those things. In games such as The Division 2, Mass Effect, Far Cry, those kind of games that I played, it takes me a while to understand the shooting and get it right. This was literally a walk in and start game. I managed to pick everything up very quickly, which is fantastic, but it's a game that has a kind of edge of almost like a turn-based game where you can take it slowly if you want, and it's got that aspect of first-person shooter. So it's very good for that, but I don't think it necessarily needs a very long tutorial. And okay, they'll explain the story, but that's every game with their tutorial, and once you've seen it once, you don't need to see it, you could skip it. So yeah, it's a little bit irritating, you'll see, but we'll start a new game. We'll do it in that because that's the thing. Single player difficulty, we'll do normal. We'll do permadeath on, which is basically if your agents get killed, they die forever. There are ways around that, but I'll tell you about that another time maybe. But we'll do permadeath on because I find the two things, it is more fun. It's more stressful when you get used to an agent, even if you've got 40 at the end of the game or when you're going through the game. If you have favourite agents, you'll be disappointed if one of them gets killed. But it adds, number one, it adds more emphasis on trying to do a mission right. You haven't got that kind of save and come back if someone gets killed, which keeps you on your toes basically. And number two, later on when you have 40 agents, you don't kind of really want to keep replacing them because you'll get used to the agents you've got, and it gives you an extra kind of reason to have to replace agents if you use one that's killed and you've got to get another one. So I find it much better. In the first playthrough, maybe go for permadeath off just to get the experience, but what I would do is, you can't alter that during game, so what I would do is just play for a few hours like that, because what I did in my first playthrough is I played many hours, and I realised after getting like a full complement of agents that I actually would rather have the permadeath on, but there was no option then, so I was left with like a 50-hour game I played that I couldn't change. So if you're going to do that, I would suggest just do it for a couple of hours just to get your hang of it, then start a new game with permadeath on. So we'll start the game. Permadeath on, we know that, blah 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 blah. Okay, good, cool, wonderful, and it's going to start. So you'll see what hopefully not get killed doing this. I haven't played when you second do it, I wouldn't say there's any spoilers in this because it's just the beginning of the game and it explains the story. When you first do it, it's quite interesting, and actually you do need to get used to a few of the, not systems, but the way the game works and how it shows you things. So that's a good tutorial. It's a bit long, but it's a good tutorial, especially the second part where it's showing you how it bits of how to do things, and it will show you how it signposts where you need to go. But once you've done it, you just don't need to do it all again. They go into a much more brief thing, or just say, do you want to skip, and that will be fine. So it does have a good use on first playthrough. Obviously it tells you a story, but yeah, later on it's a bit unnecessary, and for anyone that's played any amount of games, and I don't think this is going to be anybody's first game really, then you're not going to need that, and yeah, you're going to find it a little bit frustrating, because I do, and like I said, I love the game, and I find it frustrating. So we should be loading. Okay, here we are, and we're going to go through a whole load of, I have to endure this, so you do, so
What a town! History around every corner.
this is just a backstory.
Pub 7 into the smoke. Music, theatre, art, and multiculturalism. The world was underground. It's you. The classic cities, really. Top shelf stuff. Only took 12 hours.
No, that is London. It looks so realistic. It's very good. And this is just a backstory to what's happened. Which you can't skip, as I said. In the tutorial, you play a kind of agent that's akin to a kind of, he looks like he's kind of a James Bond, Jason Bourne character, which is a little bit strange, because later in the game you're using really random people, and the first person you use looks like a professional, very professional MI5 kind of agent. You can recruit people from MI5, you can find them in the game later, but yeah, he comes over as a very professional spy. Everything he does, the way he's dressed, everything. So again, you play this guy at the beginning. There are slight spoilers of this, so if you don't want them, well, you should probably turn off now, but they're only spoilers that you'll see in the introduction anyway, so if you play the game, by the time you've got into the full game in the open world, you'll have gone through this, so it's minor spoilers. Now, again, I think I touched on this in another game. Someone said the voice acting wasn't good and that, but I find that guy, he's got a kind of Northern Yorkshire ting to his voice, and that's very realistic. And that girl who's the head of DedSec, or the agency we're playing as, she's very realistic. She looks like a counterculture person. She sounds good. Her vocabulary is exactly right for how they would be. So I don't know what people are complaining about. Like I said, all games have some element of not being realistic. There's some part that's not right. And this game, above all others, because you can play every single character in London, of course they're going to have odd characters that the voices don't fit, but in general it's very good, and most games don't have that many different characters to cater for. Okay, so here we go. Press that to take down an enemy. It's pretty basic, because I didn't... wasn't paying attention. I didn't do that, but never mind. I think this part's, like I said, it's a tutorial kind of, but it shows you what you look for. So again, it's showing you very quickly how to do. So it's very good at showing you, this game, very good at showing you what to look for and how to do it. That wasn't complicated. Both those takedown and the door opening was very simple. So we'll just go through this. You're under the House of Parliament, that's the situation, and you're investigating what's going on. Again, it shows you very easily how to jump, which I will do. I'm going to make more of a meal of this than normal, because I'm not used to doing this while I'm recording, but there you go. So you can climb about, you can do what you need to. And there's a door that we can't get through. It shows you can't get through it. And when you find something that's locked or you can't get through, or a circuit for a closed circuit television, if you press L1, which is self-explanatory, it will show you where the circuit goes and where you need to go to deactivate it. So we will follow this round. There's a guy, we'll just take him out like that. And again, it's already shown me this. When I did this the first time, and like I said, I'm not fantastic with these kind of games usually. I found this very straightforward, and I didn't get killed in the first playthrough, so it must be simple if I didn't get killed. So then we will come around here. There's another guy. That disrupt thing is like an electric shock thing, and basically it makes it easier for you to take someone down because you have made them lose concentration. There's somebody else. You can't use a disrupt, as you could just see, that often. It has a cooldown. It's not a very long cooldown, so there I've taken that out. If you want, you can arm traps that will explode if someone comes near it, but at this point there's no need. You'll find these things, they always look pretty similar, and that will unlock
What? How did they get their hands on it?
the
I don't know.
door, and then we'll just go back the way we came. These traps you could arm, but in this, yeah, you would do it like this, I'll just show you. And that would basically mean if an enemy walks into that, he will be electrocuted and stunned, but we don't need to do that because there's no enemies to come back to, and this is just a play if we won't come back to the bit we've just passed, so it doesn't matter. Someone may get stunned there later, but who cares? So we continue following. It's quite simple because there's only one way to go. We get to here. It'll show you how to take cover. You can distract someone. You can analyse, and it will show you when there is something to analyse, and it will show you what that is that we've analysed. And that's a detonator, there you go. And that's where we have to go. So, there you go. We have to go and get some other people and get rid of them. If you try this in the real game when you're playing properly, in the main game in the real world after tutorial, running around just basically kicking people all the time probably won't work. I think this is made specifically to make this bit not that difficult to get through. So, you know, later on you'll have weapons, and if you just run into multiple enemies kicking them, you will find someone who's going to shoot you, obviously. So that cannot work, but in this part it's not trying to kill you really, it's trying to show you. So, but remember, this is a tutorial we're still playing, there's no option to get out of this. So we've kicked the crap out of a few people, and they're going to blow up Parliament and blame our organisation, which is, well, that's bad. We don't like that. That's not good. So we're going to run around here, and we're going to run around here, and we're going to run down here, and then we get to the first kind of break. You can't change anything, but this will take us up to Parliament. Once he goes through there, kick the door, yeah, we're strong. So we've got through the underground part of Parliament. We've shown you how to kick a few people and takedowns and unlock gates. That's the first bit of the tutorial. Like I said, that was kind of long for just that. You didn't learn anything you couldn't have learned in half that time or much less. But there you go. Now we're in Parliament. There's the bomb, which is bad. We don't want